So, a Victoria's Secret model reacts to Andrew Tate's arrest.
It's been a wild few days with all this stuff going on with the Tates. While everyone is entitled to their own opinion of the guy, and by the way, if you haven't spent a lot of time listening to Andrew's long form interviews, I'm talking 2, 3, 4-hour interviews, I completely understand why people would have a negative opinion of him. Like, duh, absolutely, obviously, I have eyes and ears. Listen, I too was shocked when I first came across his content. I went from being triggered and offended to laughing hysterically to surprisingly agreeing with him on a lot of things. A full range of emotion was had, let me tell you. But after hours of content, I decided I liked the guy and I liked his message and what he stood for. We both have an understanding that the institutional powers do not want people to think for themselves or to be self-reliant. We share that same sentiment when it comes to corruption and power. I think it's pretty obvious to anyone that Andrew's online persona is exactly that, a persona. A combination of provocative entertainer, intellectual, and a comedian. I mean, I think he's hysterical. A lot of over-the-top and somewhat obnoxious takes sprinkled with a bit of truth. With that said, what concerns me the most is the negligent assumptions people are making without really knowing anything about him. A quick Google search and it's an immediate, he's a scumbag, human trafficker, signed, sealed, delivered, case closed, end of story. It's very reminiscent of the COVID-19 narrative. One side blindly trusted the science, they attacked, vilified, humiliated, destroyed anyone who questioned it, and the other side simply wanted to be left alone to make their own health decisions based on the information we were given, which was dodgy and inconsistent. So sure, you can absolutely dislike Andrew Tate, and that's totally fine. But to automatically assume he's a human trafficker, rapist, woman abuser is just negligent. While I don't know Andrew Tate personally, I do know people that do, and they've only had wonderful things to say about the guy. I've also been in touch with his team in scheduling a trip to Dubai for a collaboration, and I must say, they have been nothing but direct, professional, and extremely kind. And I look forward to meeting Andrew and his team in the future once this debacle is sorted out, and I pray and trust that it will be very soon. Look, as I said, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but the attacks, hypocrisy, vilification, and humiliation, and just straight up evil has got to stop. Knowing what I know about the power structures that want to destroy Andrew, I'll probably never believe anything the Romanian or US government conjure up on him. He knew this day was coming and he warned of it so many times. He's also stated in multiple interviews that officials have bribed ex-girlfriends, offering up to $50,000 to say he was a terrible person, to no avail. Unfortunately, when these same tactics are used on poor, vulnerable Romanian women, or women in general, that could so desperately use that money, this same outcome isn't always guaranteed. I believe Andrew and Tristan are way too smart, too rich, too successful, and calculated to participate in any criminal activity. I have zero faith in the justice system, as I'm sure most logical people do at this point, especially in a corrupt country like Romania.